everybody. Welcome to our first episode of the Spooks Bro Podcast. We got Tyson Twitching here, Presley Broadhead, and Carson King.
Yeah, buddy.
What's up, guys? Okay, so this is a show where we're talking about all the spooks throughout the whole month of October, and we're gonna keep them coming.
We're gonna try 1 to 2 times a week, get 2 episodes out, at least. We might only get 1, so
Yeah,
we'll try our best.
It kind of depends between man and Tyson's schedule.
Yeah, we all are still young
Yeah,
boys that have our 9 to 5 jobs, so we'll do our best here, but hopefully you guys enjoy this.
Yeah.
And we're gonna start off with our stories.
Start off with our stories.
Okay, stories.
Yes.
Are we doing stories, or are we gonna
Or
jump to?
do we want to do an introduction first?
I think we should do an introduction. Okay. All right. So we're just gonna go in the circle.
Yeah, Tyson, you
All
go
right.
first.
So I'm Tyson, and okay, are we just introducing ourselves?
Bro, do what feels right. Do what
like,
feels right.
Okay. Hold on. Just checking. Okay. So we're just introducing ourselves. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Tyson, and I love horror movies. I've been a fan of anything scary on YouTube. Okay, I'm gonna restart. It sucks not having a script. Okay.
Yeah.
Bro, it's okay. Just flow.
Okay. So, I'm Tyson, and I like horror movies, scary YouTube videos, and monsters. So I thought it'd be fun to talk about spooks in a podcast form because that is popular right now. And yeah, so that's me. You want to go have your turn?
What a guy. All right, I'm Presley Broadhead. I just graduated last year from Riverton High School. If any of you go there, woot woot. I am 18. I love, honestly, the whole spooky subject that we're doing here. It's really entertaining to me. And I think I speak for all of us when I say we've all kind of want to do our own sort of vlog podcast type deal here. So it's kind of like a group goal here.
Exactly.
And all I can say is I go with the flow, and yeah, that's me.
Right on. I'm Carson. I like to party. I'm 6'6". I'm 18. I'm still in high school. This is my senior year. Trying to make the best of life. I was working 2 jobs. Now I'm working 1 job. Happy to be here. This is going to be a great experience.
Oh yeah.
So let's make the most of it. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
If it flops, it flops. If it takes off, then here we are.
Watch this just
In our
tank.
in our dungeon-looking studio.
Yeah.
Making fun of me?
Built by yours truly.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, we worked hard on this, so
Yeah.
shut up.
Yeah. If you guys think this looks low budget, then you are completely correct.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's no lies here. No lies.
No lies. That's right.
All right. So who's going to start us off?
We should also talk about our later segment too. We also be doing this thing every episode.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Where we're going to call it Chow Time.
Chow time.
Or Chow.
Shout out.
We're gonna call it. We haven't decided yet, so
You'll hear it. You'll hear the sound bite once we get into it. It's gonna be like big booming, and
yeah, we're gonna have it edited in. Woo!
hopefully, I should be able to do that, right?
You should.
I should.
Yeah.
What are you here for if you don't?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Anyways,
Guys, I'm scared.
okay, so we're just gonna be we're gonna try to aim for something weird that we're eating or slash drinking. We might just have something good.
Bro, he's stressing.
Yeah, we
he's
got-
stressing.
That's what I'm scared about right now. We got, what is it? Apple cider vinegar.
Yum. I'm excited.
And then this is like some weird chocolate bread brochet thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was called marbled bread or
Oh
something.
yeah,
I
marbled
guess.
chocolate brochet.
Get it
Yeah.
from your local Walmart.
Yeah.
All right.
Was it Walmart?
Yeah.
Yeah. No sponsorship.
Yes.
But yes, we're gonna do that first.
Yeah.
If you guys want to, let's do it.
Okay, so what we're doing is we're doing this thing called Chow Down, and
I'm really good at voices.
Yeah.
Okay? I can do deep voices, high pitched voices, and they want me to do chow down.
in
Right?
this
Okay.
crazy
Chow down.
deep voice.
Okay.
Yes.
Hopefully that picked it up. That was, okay.
If not, we'll
It was airy, but yeah, you guys will hear it.
yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So bread?
Bread first, I guess.
Bread it is.
Bread.
Guys, I'm scared to drink apple cider vinegar.
Ooh.
I hate that
Boy.
stuff.
Children.
Why would
Children.
you go buy that?
We need this this reaction, okay?
Okay, wait.
Chocolate bread's
Rock, paper,
nothing.
scissors?
What do you mean? It's just chocolate
Just
bread.
shut
Just chow down. This I actually been wanting to try for a while. Mm-hmm.
Should we start with like a or
What?
ASMR or whatever?
I'm not gonna do that. Poor people.
Yeah, I'm not grossing anybody out. Hopefully.
And mind you guys, I haven't eaten lunch today, and it is like 6.
No, he's usually like this. He's a total pig.
I'm starving.
I haven't been fed in weeks.
It kind of tastes like Nutella.
That's
That's
good.
what it was. It was like tastes like chocolate, but a certain type of chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really enjoy it.
Now I need to wash it down. It's going down rough.
Oh,
Hey.
yeah.
Apple cider vinegar.
What's better?
My
Oh.
favorite. I'm gonna die. Should we do shots or
Yeah.
should we do full cups?
I'm not doing a full cup. Are you
Let's just do a
crazy?
shot at first.
It's going down really rough.
Don't die on here.
I gotta shake it.
Okay, so when I was a kid, my mom made me drink spoonfuls of that every now and then.
Oh, bro.
It is, ugh,
It is rancid. Okay.
it is one of the worst. What are you doing? That's too much.
Oh.
It's
Tyson
not
gets that one.
No, no.
Bro, what is pansy? Just that off the table. Okay, we gotta shotgun this at once.
I'm doing a shot. I'm not going as much as you
Bro,
did.
this
That
is-
was.
Dude, I can smell it.
It's like that.
What are you?
Okay.
You gotta full send. Full send. Just come on.
Ooh, that stinks.
Wait, you got the same amount as I do, Tyson.
I don't have anything.
I can see the bottom of the cup.
No, it's probably just because of the
Dude,
lighting.
That stinks.
No,
Why is it-
duh. It's rotten
Why is it
apples.
stinking so bad?
Oh, wait!
Oh,
I
we
have to
gotta
pour
do it, like, all
myself,
at the same time.
guys.
Is your mouth salivating yet? Okay, just Tyson.
I'm having PTSD.
Oh man.
Shoot! I'm spilling.
Tyson.
I'm nervous.
Okay, so all
We
at
don't
once?
have napkins, do we?
Oh crap.
Yeah, we should have brought that down. We have like it all
Oh.
over the table. This is gonna be a
Okay,
stinky
ready?
episode.
Ready?
Guys.
Okay. Cheers.
Wait.
What?
Do we have a garbage to throw up in? What's in here?
No,
bread.
bread.
Bread's in there.
Don't use that.
Well, it's gone now.
Use your shoe.
What? We just.
Just swallow. Just down the hatch. Plug your nose if you have to.
I'm not gonna drink this whole cup.
Well, do what you have to.
I'm gonna take
Do
a
it.
sip, and that's it.
No,
I've had my fair share of apple cider. I probably drink more apple cider
Bruh.
than any of you guys
Bruh.
have ever.
This is gonna double you.
Okay, all at once. Let's do this.
You ready?
Oh,
Yeah, we'll start in the middle on 3.
Chow down, boys.
Carson,
One.
you count us down. Yeah.
2, 3.
Don't throw up! Why would you do this to us? You good, bro?
I'm good.
If you need a
bad.
if you need a puke, turn around.
That's
Oh shit!
That's really bad.
What if I told you I switched mine for apple juice?
No, well, we saw you pour it,
Yeah.
goofball. It burns your tongue.
Burns your throat, man. Holy crap.
You
Y'all
said
need
your
water?
dad drinks this?
Like he has like I think it's like a little cup full every night.
Why?
Terrible.
Why?
No, bad.
I guess that's what we have to look forward to.
Well, I didn't finish mine, so
Yeah, I didn't either.
we'll go like this then.
Thank you. How much? Oh no. Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
I was gonna
We'll
say
go-
if you do.
We're gonna have the smell of apple
Oh.
cider vinegar on this table for a while.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get so. Jeez, I'm gonna get some
I'm not
bread.
gonna eat bread. I'm gonna have a little bit of bread.
Yeah, take the half that I just broke
You need
off.
to like.
Oh.
You need to wash it down.
That was terrible.
Never again.
Never again on that.
You
stuff.
said you were excited, Preston.
It was good. Oh man, that stinks really bad.
Should we get that off the table?
Yeah. Do we have?
Yeah.
We don't have paper towels down here,
Yeah.
do we?
No, I'm just gonna.
We'll keep this on
Holy
here
crap.
to remind people what we just did. I'm gonna have more of this bread. It's freaking
This
good.
bread is good, but that was horrible.
Never again.
We're at the end of this video. You gotta drink the rest of it.
The whole. Oh,
Yeah.
yep. Okay.
Chug it.
Is that a challenge?
Yeah.
Bro, I did that in my sleep.
Okay.
I'm kidding. No, I'm not that freak. Okay.
All right.
Well, that just happened.
Yeah, that was bad.
This is a great episode so far.
Yeah, good first
I
episode.
already want to die. If I didn't have heartburn before.
Doesn't apple cider vinegar help with that though?
I
yeah,
think it does.
it's like acid with acid. It like contradicts itself.
We're not scientists.
I don't speak English. Okay.
All
Well,
right.
Are
we
we
ready
ready
to
to talk
move
about
on?
monsters?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, Presley.
I know.
Your paper's gonna smell. Oh,
yeah.
we got notes. Sorry, I'm talking with my mouth full. Sue
Yeah.
me. Don't sue me, but you know.
We haven't even started yet. Don't sue them.
All right. Yeah, we got each our little brief histories and whatnot about our monsters. So
Yeah, we don't really memorize everything. We're not like
yeah,
we're not pros.
not Einstein.
Yeah.
So Carson, would you like to start?
I'm starting off.
Yeah. We got water because that is so vile.
Bad.
Everything.
Yes.
I'm afraid to burp. I'm
It's
afraid to
bad.
breathe.
It's really bad. My stomach has got the rumblies and my tumblies.
Yes. Okay.
So you start.
Well, we're starting off with the Wendigo. I chose the Wendigo because not only is it really interesting to learn about, but it is really freaky because
Yeah.
it's personally one of my worst fears because it's tall and limber, like really skinny. The Wendigo is like a people-eating creature that it's one or two ways. You can either be possessed or just eat a lot of people, depending on the area that in which it happens in. So, like, say someone gets lost in like the wilderness, like a blizzard, and I think it's Canada, Atlantic coast, or Nova Scotia. Those three places. If someone gets lost in like say like forest, blizzard time, cold weather, and they don't have food, then they end up maybe becoming cannibalistic.
Yeah.
And then that native spirit will possess that person, which will drive them into a hungry craze for human blood. So they will end up like growing, kind of change in form, and they become like 15 feet tall, like I said before, and they are very emaciated.
Did you say where they come from? I didn't hear. I was
Okay, yeah, they originate from the lore of this originated from like the northern forest of Nova Scotia, the Atlantic coast, and the Great Lakes region of Canada.
Makes sense.
Yeah, they're colder places.
Yeah.
so it kind of.
I could definitely picture this thing running around in Canada.
Yeah, it's freaky. Okay.
He ain't nice.
Oh, for sure. No. But like people often relate the Wendigo sightings to like Bigfoot, but compare it to like a werewolf because of like the appearance. It's not
Yeah.
ripped, but it's not tiny.
And I'll throw a picture in there too.
Yeah, I'll let them. And then the Wendigo are very agile. They're very fast, avoiding freezing and like harsh weather, winter conditions.
Exactly.
And there's some like controversy saying the Wendigo walk is in like a haggard manner, so like his body's like falling apart, so it's like decomposing at this point. A very good visual representation is in a video game called Until Dawn.
That game's intense.
Yeah.
If
It's
you guys
wild.
haven't seen
It's
videos or
crazy.
played the game, it's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah.
Isn't there? Is that the one with the butterfly effect, right?
Yeah, that's
Yep.
that
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
And so like they really like what's the word? Perceive or
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, they.
visually
I don't
created it. Let's just do that.
Yeah.
Visually created like it really well. Like the
They
movement of
represented it well.
Yeah.
Vero.
They were in
Yeah.
Transylvania.
But yeah, like they really they put their heart and soul into this thing. They made it look really good. The movements of it are freaky as crap. It's,
Oh yeah.
it's blizzards outside, and you see him hopping from tree to tree. It is terrifying.
If you guys haven't seen those videos or play the game, do that. If you're into spooks.
It's only on PlayStation though. No
Oh,
sponsor.
yeah. I've only seen videos, but
Yeah, I watched PewDiePie.
oh, you did that one?
Yeah,
PewDiePie
I
did
think,
that.
yeah, he did that one. They
I
all
watched
did.
Markiplier.
Yeah, but yeah, I couldn't find any questions about it. I think this whole thing has been cracked pretty wide open. It's a pretty common one. It's a common
How
like,
fast
Yeah.
would you say it could run?
faster than me.
Well,
Would
how
you
fast
say,
do
like-
you run?
Not run at all,
So
obviously.
Well, could you say like 20 miles per hour?
I'd say pretty close to that. 30
So
miles an hour.
he
pretty
can
fast.
he can come and bite you.
Yeah. Just
Well,
look
I
up
could come
footage
and
on
bite you.
Until Dawn. It's otherworldly.
It's,
It's
kind
freaky.
of gory, so
Yeah.
if you don't like it, then don't watch it.
Yeah.
Like we said before, we'll throw up a picture just because you can get like a look.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It kind of
more
like
mature.
jumps. It jumps from spot to spot. It doesn't
Yeah.
not like hauling, like running,
Yeah.
but it jumps.
It's fast.
So it's freaky.
Yeah, but it's a Wendigo.
Yeah.
And speaking of like it being in games, any of you guys seen like the newest Pet Cemetery that came out last
I
year or
haven't.
this year?
I
I
heard
forget.
the Wendigo was in it.
It's in it, but you barely see it, and that's what I was just gonna bring up. Is the Wendigo is in Pet Cemetery, and you see it's like silhouette, and like
Interesting.
yeah,
Bro.
I like that movie, and people give me hate for liking that movie all the time, but I think it's a good movie. But that's the one thing I'm not happy with is they didn't show off the Wendigo as much.
Yeah, I
But-
love the Wendigo, but I hate the Wendigo.
It's cool.
It's whack. It's like it's freaky. It's not normal. Yeah. Well,
So urban legend number 1
complete.
complete. Thank you,
Spook-
Carson, for
Spook is done.
Give us like your creepiest wave you can say the Wendigo. Say like
Wait,
the
say
Wendigo.
say the Wendigo in your scariest voice because we all know you're the voice
When
guy.
did it go?
When did it go? When did it go?
Should I do like a deep voice or like a high pitched voice?
What creepy?
Surprise me.
Oh, you can't do that to me.
Surprise me.
You're the voice guy.
The Wendigo. I don't know.
Oh shoot, you clipped it. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
All right.
Guess so. That's it.
All right.
All right, so the Wendigo is kind of like my monster, which we'll get to. Do you want to jump to me, or do you want to?
Oh man.
Should we keep
Ma-
this whole
mine's-
circle thing going?
Mine's a little different, so we could go. So since you guys are more similar, we could go to you. But if you want to go to me,
Mine
I'm fine
is
with that too.
Yeah, I think we could do like regions because yours is like kind of warmer. It's like kind of
Yeah, it's
weather.
like
yours is kind of like
Yeah.
moderate. It's like in between. So
it's anywhere. Okay, yeah. So here's the thing: we all knew what monsters we're doing. It's just we haven't discussed like the exact research because we wanted to be more surprised, more
Yeah,
creeped out.
it's not all planned. It's kind of improv.
Yeah, that's why it's a podcast. Good
Yeah.
podcast form.
podcast.
And this is our first one, so what the heck?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we'll just keep the circle going because
Okay.
mine's super intense. And
Alright.
yeah,
Mine is the chupacabra. I like them a lot. They're just really spooky looking.
Yeah,
I've heard
they're
as
gross.
a kid. I believe it was one of my cousins who told me this story, or you told my brother, and he told me. But that story, I'm gonna tell it later, down my line. But that story kind of always stuck with me, and that's like one reason why I kind of like them. And then another reason, they're just like, they're also kind of skinny. Like, I don't know what it is. Skinny or like powerful monsters are just,
yeah.
there's something about them that makes your skin crawl, you know? It's really
but
freaky.
it's not like the size of the Wendigo. Say it's
Yeah,
it's
it-
short.
Is it?
It's
Yeah.
about, I have it on here. Let's see. It's 4 feet. So
4 feet,
they say
okay,
it's
so-
about
so
the
it's like-
size of a small bear. That's what it says.
4
So,
feet? Okay, yeah. So
Okay, so yeah, the Wendigo.
That's
yeah,
creepy.
It's not like, way up there, but
it'll give you nightmares.
it's shorter than like what we are, but it's really also fast. Like,
ugh. Just imagine
it's
being
spooky.
chased down the
Don't-
forest,
Don't tell me
Yeah.
that.
and then you turn the corner, and then a
Oh.
freaking Wendigo looks down on
Oh
you,
man, yeah.
and then yeah. Okay, we haven't even got to mine yet.
Okay,
Okay,
so-
keep going. Sorry.
So that's why I chose the chupacabra or the
Yeah.
chupacabras, because there's not just one; it's a species, really.
Oh.
So the chupacabra
Ew.
is like this grayish dog-like creature. It doesn't have fur or necessarily hair, but it has like these quills. I don't know if that's counted as hair or not, but they're
Like,
like quills.
porcupine quills.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're like
yeah.
quills on the back of it, usually like around its neck and then like its mid upper back.
Oh
so
yeah, so that thing's
It's a little
spooky.
spooky, you know.
And is there like purpose for those, or are they just
That's just to mainly intimidate.
okay? Yeah.
If you've ever seen
Well, I'm
The
intimidated.
Village, it's like kind of like the
Oh,
monsters in The Village. They
yeah.
have like these quill things sticking out their backs. Some of them do.
Very
So-
yeah.
It's really spooky if you see them like running at you. All right, so its skin is like also very scaly too. Like it's dried up. Like it looks like it's also kind of like the Wendigo starving, like hungry.
Okay.
You know, it has like there's been a bunch of cases on the chupacabras. A lot of them have said it has like yellowish green eyes, and then the other ones were red eyes, and that's the one that I heard about in my personal like kind of story that scared me. It had red eyes, so red or yellow. Whatever it may be, you choose. They're the height of a small bear. We went over that. Chupacabras have the quills sticking out their backs, almost resembling human hair when it stands up. That's kind of like what it's like. So they go down and up is what I researched about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when you get scared, your
the
your
hair
skin
stands back.
stands up.
Yeah.
It's like when they see you and they're like ready to kill you.
Oh.
Their quills come up. So it's like
Oh.
a chain reaction, you know.
Yeah.
Just,
So
it's
don't-
really
Basically, don't pet the porcupines at the zoo. You'll never know.
Yeah.
it's really freaky. So
Common sense, but
yeah, so they can either run on all fours or hop on two legs. They're a lot like kangaroos. There's been a lot of incidents reported in Australia specifically because it's like kangaroos. They like kind of hop around just like how a kangaroo would.
Ooh, that's
So
creepy.
That's a little freaky. But then there has
Spooky.
been instances where it's like they see them running on all fours. So it's, I guess, how it depends on how hungry they are. Really, that's what I would predict. It doesn't necessarily
So
say, but that's what I assume. You know.
They'll eat and feast on human flesh.
Oh yeah. Pretty much anything really. Like they, unless I've heard it's not like really a vegetarian, but so they're pretty fast when they're running either way. They can go pretty fast. I've heard like this is only in the way of them hopping. Okay, this is not like on all fours, so I don't know how much of a difference it makes. But hopping, I've heard it gets up to 40 miles per hour.
Ooh,
So,
Bro.
a
these things
4-foot little monster running
Yeah,
at you.
If
at
you're
40?
driving around in a Miata, you better get a turbo on that
Bro,
thing, man.
oh,
like you,
man.
you're not
Imagine
gonna
that
wanna be
thing
in a
just going
slow car, yeah.
No, it's like a cat, and it's just hauling at you.
yeah, or hopping at you. Like
Bro.
that was in it hopping 40 miles.
Oh,
So what's it running?
that
What's
just
it
made
running?
my skin crawl.
Was it running?
What's it running?
Like
Like what? Like
on all
fast?
fours?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't get that
Oh, that'd be
information,
scary
but
to find
If
out.
that's
the
out
thing,
there,
it's
let us
probably
know if you can figure that
faster
out.
Is what I would say, but 40 miles per hour hopping at you. So yeah,
Bro.
you're gonna want a fast car.
No thanks. I don't want to. I don't want to go to
Yeah.
Australia. You can keep your bugs and creatures there.
Yeah, Australia. Australia is like a different planet.
Actually, the first sighting of them was Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
That's where they started.
Well,
I always thought it was Australia, but
not going there.
never.
Cross it off, doesn't even go.
But they've actually been all over. The sightings have been all over the USA, Puerto Rico, like area mainly, and Australia.
Sweet.
Okay,
So,
so like warmer conditions there.
yeah, I actually heard it's more northern, like North America. So
Do we have a chance of seeing one then?
I'm gonna make a fort in my room, some mattresses around. I'm gonna box myself in a corner.
He just hops in 40 miles an hour into your room.
right through
It's
the
like,
window.
Carson!
Oh god.
Oh man.
What would you do in that scenario though? Would
Die.
Okay. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
I always have a good knife or two laying around.
Yeah, this
so-
guy's got
You got
blades.
that big brass knuckle looking one.
Me, I've got like no weapon. In
Don't
my-
mess with me.
Yeah.
Break
You
into
got-
my
you got
room, I dare you.
guitars, Just paddle him real quick. Just
Oh yeah, I'll just knock him on the noggin with a guitar. Just go, get out of my room.
And Carson just fist fights him. He's feisty. He gets real
Fist
feisty.
feisty. He's like,
leg,
hey.
and I'll just like pick it up or something. I don't know.
Carson will just stomp on him.
Quick
All right.
pancake of a machine.
So their usual diet consists of livestock. Goats is where the first thing was reported was goats. They were said to at first drain the blood of their creatures, but later that was proven wrong. It was more just like they'd kill them for sport, most likely, I guess. But they do chickens, cows, pigs, just basic livestock, and then a few incidences of people being hunted by the chupacabra. I did not find anything of someone being actually eaten by one, so
That is yet to come, maybe.
you could be next.
We'll put you up as the Wait.
No,
Just tie you
Tyson.
to a field.
Wait, hold on.
No, that'll be you. We'll get a big apple in your mouth.
Just tie me up. Just
Hog tie.
Carson Bacon.
I can't outrun it. Remember, 40 miles an hour.
No one on the planet can outrun this
Usain
monster.
Bolt, he could maybe do it. Usain, you're safe. That's insane.
No, I don't think so. He would die.
We'll see. We'll prove. Usain, we're inviting you to come with us to Puerto Rico. We'll do it next summer, and it'll be really fun.
Watch that
Motion
actually
Live
happen.
podcast.
Yeah. Spooks Brothers
We'll
podcast
vlog
goes
it.
freaking Puerto Rico.
Mobile podcast.
Usain, run, man! I can't keep up.
Oh crap! Bro.
Yeah, that'd be fun to do.
Okay. The first eyewitness was, in case you're curious, Madeline Tolentino. So, little
Quentin
extra.
Tarantino?
That's
Like that?
exactly
Yeah,
what
not
I just thought.
Tolentino.
Tolentino.
Yeah, Tolentino in Puerto Rico, 1995. This origin doesn't really date back that far. There's a lot of other spooks that go back like way in history. This one's more of a modern one, which in my opinion that's a little more creepy because there's like a lot of cameras that, like if you look it up, there's a lot of camera footage that shows where they think they saw it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know on some of it, some of it looks
Yeah,
pretty real, though.
some stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
And we all kind of, I bet we all kind of found that out as researching stuff, like going through monster videos, like, okay,
It's-
come on.
It's not gonna be anything,
We want some genuine spooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So since it's more modern, I kind of like that though because it's like, it's more of a modern thing. So it seems like we could prove it more.
Yeah.
Because like it's not like some book that was in the 1700s. It's like it was there.
It was.
It
Yeah.
existed. It happened.
The Kraken or something.
Um,
That thing's scary.
So yeah, that's pretty
Kraken's
scary.
wild.
They're actually the personal stories on this are they're weird. They're like whack. There's some that are like they don't go into a lot of detail, and then you get some that are just like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
here,
like,
man?
why are you
There's a
talking?
literal video you can look it up of a news lady sitting there, and she's like, "We have recently discovered the chupacabra," as this dog is running around circles around.
I think I saw
As the
that
dog, she's
one.
like, as you can see, the chupacabra right here is not too.
Oh yeah, you
not
showed
too
me. You
vicious,
showed me
and
that.
I was like,
Huh?
yeah, that's a chupacabra right there. It's like a German shepherd running around her. I'm like,
Idiots.
anyways, so yeah,
Some people, they have no common sense. They're there to be a person, but
Literally.
they don't act like one.
Yeah.
okay, so some unanswered questions if they are real. I would say yes.
You say yes, they're real?
Mm-hmm. Not gonna say why. I'm just gonna say yes.
Oh, okay.
How much livestock have been affected by the chupacabras? I don't know.
It's hard to,
Yeah.
it's hard to say.
Mhm.
A good amount from what I was looking up. It's a good amount. If there's been there was more than 1,000 reports at least of
1,000?
yeah,
Bro.
from
Oh,
like I
how
said,
many.
Americas, Australia. It's been a few different places, but the
No,
thing
wait.
is that they're all kind of little different in the description. They all end up being like a type of dog-looking creature.
Yeah.
So,
Is,
it's hard to say.
is that 1,000 livestock killed or 1,000 livestock
Like reports.
Reported.
Yeah, for
Okay.
different people.
And
Okay.
it doesn't mean necessarily 1,000 livestock, just like a report.
Okay, so there could have been multiple livestock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But then
At
just
the
1,000
least.
people.
That's not a complete
Reported
accurate
it.
number, but
It's
that's like at
Okay.
least. Okay.
Some
Okay,
weird,
I
some,
get
and
that.
also some weirdos can be calling, yeah, guys, I just shot a chupacabra. Like,
Oh, really?
I understand that. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. So you think it's real for sure?
I'd say yes.
Yes, just yes, no. Explanation.
Just
Okay.
yes.
You guys got to decide for yourself too.
Where exactly
Go
to
hunting
find them?
Yeah.
Best place, I'd say Puerto Rico. That's probably your best chance of finding one there.
That'd be so
That's
fun.
where
to go.
most of the reports are, anyways.
All right.
How to kill one? I didn't find any information about that. How to kill one?
A bullet.
Oh.
A foot, a good boot.
A good boot.
All right, so now I'm gonna go into the story part of my chupacabras, in general, I guess.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say chupacabra, but there's
Yeah.
multiple.
Yeah.
It's not one thing. So this is a story I heard when I was little, which it may be off on some parts because I was younger when I heard this, so
Yeah.
can't remember every detail. Gonna do the best I can. I'm gonna add in some little sound effects here, so don't make fun of me. Okay.
Oh, we will.
So there's a story that my cousin told me. He knew a guy that I don't remember where, okay, but he lived out in this town where it was kind of more of like a Timbuktu kind of town, you know, like
Yeah.
there's not a lot around, okay, lots of fields, pastures, stuff like that. But there is like a local town. It's just, you know, he doesn't live next to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a few miles to go. So one night, and this guy is he owns sheep. That's his thing. He like, you know, shaves them and sells the cotton and everything, or the wool, I mean.
Yeah, the cotton.
Don't make fun of me. Anyways, the wool. Sorry, I'm just gonna keep saying cotton now. Anyways, so he goes home one night and he's driving. He has just a little pickup truck. It was, I believe, a Toyota.
Okay.
Little, quiet, you know, just weak motor,
Yeah.
small,
Yeah.
not anything too fast. So he goes home one night, gets to his house. Okay, picture this. So it's like one of those small houses, only like one story. Okay, not anything big. He has has a basement. Yeah, he has a basement, but it's not like anything big. Then he has like his little fencing for where he has his sheep, just a wooden fence. He drives home one night and he doesn't leave his lights on, and there's no street lamps out there because it's, like I said, kind of out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a modern city kind of thing. So he gets out there and it's dark. His whole house is dark. His driveway's dark, but the moon is like crazy bright. So casts like this, you know, little glare of a light, I guess you could say, over like the whole valley. So he gets home and sees that the fence has been knocked down. He can see it because the moonlight. That's what I'm saying. It's like just like, you know, when you're out late at night. Have you ever been out super late and the moon just casts, like you can generally see everything.
It's basically
Because it's
second
really
sunlight.
It's that bright.
Yeah.
Okay? So he can see his fence. There's a piece of it, probably about the farthest point, next to like where the tree line starts, because there's like a forest nearby. That's been knocked down, and he just sees sheep lying everywhere over his field. There's like they're just lying out there. Most of them just have like, you know, you can't really tell from this distance, but most of them look like they've been messed with a bit, you know, not anything like completely eaten. So he goes inside his house. It's like completely dark. Opens the door, unlocks his front door, goes inside, like, you know, goes in there, walks in through his kitchen, and he goes down. Well, walks into his kitchen, sees that his back door that usually leaves open because there's not very many people out there. You don't have to worry about, you know, people breaking in. At least he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
His screen door he kept closed, but the main back door was open. The screen door is torn down. Okay, like something's been clawing at it and ripped it all to pieces. You know.
Mm-hmm.
He turns on his kitchen light, like, you know, turns it on. These are gonna get real good sound effects here, okay? Nothing happens. It's like pitch black, okay? Pitch black. In this like kind of 80s looking kitchen. Just picture that.
Okay.
Turns to his staircase that leads down to his basement. He goes down there to check the breakers, you know, the switches. Walks down the steps, goes down there, and he notices, like, on his way down the steps, blood footprints going, like, paw prints, you'd say, going up from the stairs, up and down.
Okay.
Something's been down there, and something's came back up. He walks down the steps really quietly. There's, like, cement steps, so there's, like, cement basement, you know, kind of unfinished. He walks over to his breaker, if that's what you call it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the light box.
Yeah, power box, pretty much.
Mhm.
I don't know. Goes over to it. It's just mangled, you know. It's mangled, man. Like, this thing's torn apart. Wires are hanging out. It's, like, sparking a bit, you know. It's been messed with. So he tries, you know, doesn't expect much, but he tries to flip the switches. Nothing happens. He hears his back door, like, kind of rattle, you know. Something, like, ran through his house, rattled past the back door, and it's wide open, you know, like it's wide open. It's easy to get through that door now since it's been like mangled. Walk slowly up the steps, you know, thinking, what am I gonna do to this guy?
God.
You know, someone's been seriously messing with me, and
Yeah.
you know, if I was in that scenario, I'd just be like,
Kill mode.
1-2,
engaged.
buddy. Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
No, he's walking up the steps really slowly. Gets up each step. Looks right. There's nothing in there. Like, it's just all you can hear is like the breeze, you know, going through. Kind of a brisk night a little bit.
Yeah.
Turns left to where his kitchen is and his back door is. It's kind of flapping, you know. Walks over, pushes it open, 'cause that's where he heard that, you know,
Mhm.
heard something by that back door. Wasn't sure what, but he heard it. Opens it, you know. Opens it real quiet, like. I'm trying to stay serious here. Okay. Opens it real quiet, like. He walks out, and it's mainly, he has a really, like, kind of dirty yard, you know. He doesn't take very good care of it. It's really yellow grass. Not very clean. Doesn't have sprinklers. Walks over to his wooden fence. That's where it starts. Is where his backyard is. Goes around pretty good distance, you know. Like half an acre, I'd say. Okay. He goes over to the fence, climbs over to go look what happened, you know. Walks over to a few of these dead corpses, you know, these sheep. Each one is just like clawed at, mangled at, but none of them. It was just enough to kill him. You could tell it was bad. You know, it wasn't anything like quick, and it wasn't, you know, it wasn't like he was just doing it for hunger, whatever it was, or whoever it was. So he's getting pretty freaked out. You know, chills are going up in the back of his neck. You know, he's getting freaked out. He turns around back to his pickup truck, and he's getting stressed. You know, like heavy breathing. Like that. Moonlight's like the wind's kind of picking up. It's like you hear all the trees. You know when you hear all those like leaves at night with like the big old trees.
Oh yeah, so it's just adding to the atmosphere.
So it's just really kind of giving that background sound to this. He starts to just like, you know, speed walk to his truck, and it's not like the wind's just kind of picking up. So he's getting freaked out because he doesn't know what's out there. He doesn't know what did this. And he's thinking, you know, I gotta go get the cops, you know. This was also before iPhones, all of that stuff. So he had a phone, but power had been cut, you know. Didn't have like a mobile phone. So he starts to pick up his speed. He's running now, like he's going. Jumps over his fence, the part that wasn't broken, climbs into his little pickup, starts it up, backs out, just, you know, out of his dirt driveway. He's not rich, okay? He's kind of like low key.
Yeah.
Backs out of his dirt and kind of gravelly driveway. Starts going, you know? And he's like going at the speed that's like, he's still thinking, you know? He's not like flooring it, but he's going like a solid 37, 40-ish. He's going, man. He's going up this road. And while he's thinking, he's like, what could have done this? You know, who did I have someone that hates me? Why? And like while he's thinking, he's like looking at his mirror, you know, glances just as you do at your mirror. Glances at his mirror, and you see this tall looking figure way back there, way back by his house, and he's gotten like almost a mile away now, you know.
Ooh. And
it looks like it's like coming full speed, you know, at him, like it's picking up, you know. So he's like sitting there, he's like, what in the world, you know? So he kind of like tries to ignore it for a minute, just keeps driving, still keeping his like solid 40 pace, which you can't do much more than that, you know. Like he could probably top out at like 60. Glances at the mirror again, and it's like bigger and closer. It's gaining on him, you know. So he's getting a little freaked out, you know, like, is that like a biker, you know? Like, what's he doing right now? It's like, you know, 12 o'clock or so, I think.
Yeah.
This thing's picking up on him. It's picking up. He's getting really worried here, you know? Not sure what it is, but he doesn't necessarily want to step on it because he's curious, you know? Like, what is it? So it's picking up. His little pickup's just, his pickup truck is just sitting there like, you know, keeping that kind of quiet, steady pace. And you can start to hear it, you know. It's getting close now. You can start to hear it, just the, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like it's running, you know. But after a while, he notices it's like, it's hopping. It's not running. It's like,
oh shoot!
you know, it's coming after him. It's gaining on him, man. So it's starting to get close to like his tailgate now. It's getting real close. You can see its eyes. It's red eyes, and he's just thinking, "What is this thing?
Oh,
What is it?" He's like, "What killed my sheep? What could that even be?" He still is curious because he can't see it that well because it's really late at night. You just have that moonlight cast over the valley. It's going. Okay, so it's by his tailgate now. He lets off just an inch, lets off because he wants to see it like up close. Wants to see what killed his sheep. Lets off. Now it's like right lined with his window, But it starts to, when it's gaining and he's slowing down, it starts to go out further. Like it doesn't necessarily want to be right next to him, but it wants to see him. Slows down, looks to the side of his window, just like really afraid to glance, just like slowly looking. And that thing, it's hopping, man. It's like this black looking kangaroo. It's fast, it's skinny, and it's beady red eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Just turns and looks at him. And he said it had this sinister smile. These fang-like teeth, and it just smiles at him. Skin crawling. And then it turns left, hops over the nearby fence, and leaves.
That's it? What? Yeah.
Bro.
Wait, so is this a true story? Or is it a story is it a story your cousin told you?
I don't know.
Oh.
It's true.
Oh, voice cracking.
The end. That's
Okay.
my story.
Well, that's the chupacabra, my friends.
That was a good one. I like that.
Now that is spooky.
That was my spooky way of saying chupacabra.
Kind of gave me a little shiver.
All right, boys. Mine is about the rake. I don't know if you guys know much about the rake, because when I was doing my research, there was very little videos of the rake. I decided to talk about this monster because I've kind of had what you would say personal experiences with this. Mm-hmm. I'll get into that story just towards the end. I'll just describe what it is. It's generally a 6 foot tall pale humanoid creature, and it usually walks on all fours. So it's not like a dog's legs where it's like meant to walk on all fours. So it looks like a human is walking on all fours, who is also 6 foot tall, pale, and skinny. Like this guy, this guy's spooky, and he's got long, sharp claws. Like I've seen pictures where it like varies, so like the claws are gonna be like that long. Like he just has long, sharp claws, hence the name the rake. Like
Okay.
its eyes are like black tunnels to nowhere. Like every like video or story I've heard about it, they always mention the eyes, and which is funny because my story is about the eyes. Like it's a creepy story. And the eyes will widen even more if it's provoked and ready to attack you. But generally they say like if you come across it and you leave it alone, it will leave you alone. It will just sit and stare at you. Like, yeah. This thing, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it because, yeah, okay. So I guess I'll get into the history as well. The popularity kind of started around like 2006 when someone made a blog post on the website called Something Awful, or blog site, or whatever you would call it. Something Awful. It's just, it's called Something Awful,
yeah.
whatever. It's an old thing. It looks aged, and it was yeah. He just made a post about it saying like describing the monster, black eyes, blah blah blah, and what sparked it is in June 2006 there was this Spanish YouTube video that was posted. These two men in Spain were hiking through the forest, and I'll put a video link in the description. But like these two men are hiking, it's night vision, and so it's spookier looking, and they're like walking and they see this thing like crouched down like this. And the video is not labeled, "Oh, we saw the rake." It's like fallen angel something, and it like so it's like they're not calling it the rake because it didn't have the name the rake at the time that they knew of. And he like turns around and you see his eyes, like the black holes, but also like, you know, when you shine a light in a dog's eyes and they're like kind of glow, it's got that. And the men are like, "Oh crap," and they like run around, but it's all in Spanish and I can't understand it. But yeah, I'll put a link in the video. You guys got to check it out. I don't have it with me right now.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a creepy video. I was watching it like, what am I doing to myself? Because yeah, I guess the origin as well, like it was written about in the 12th century by this what would you call it? It's the guy who rides boats around forever. Salesman? Sailor.
Yeah.
My mind just blinks. Captain Sailor, whatever. He wrote about it, and I quoted him. Well, I didn't quote him word for word. Oh, yeah, Mariner. In 1691, saying this is him writing about it in his journal, saying it came to him in his sleep at the foot of his bed.
No way.
And he's like... He also said the rake took everything from him. Like, when he looked at it, he's like, everything was taken from me just by looking at it. And
what was everything?
That was all he said. He's like, everything was taken from me, like, as he looked in his eyes. So my guess is like maybe his soul, maybe his like will to live or something.
Dignity.
Yeah. He said everything was taken from him, and he's like, they needed to leave England by the request of the rake. And so he woke up from that nightmare, and they left England, him and his sailor team.
Oh, good on him.
And another written case of this in 1880 by a Spanish man, he said that he has experienced the greatest terror. He describes the rake as, like, the slender, gray character, and he says he stared into his black, hollow eyes, and like he was like in a trance. He like couldn't move. He was just staring in his black hollow eyes, and he felt hopeless. And all this hopelessness from staring at the rake was also like, okay, yeah, I'll have to get into the story. This will all make sense in a bit. Like, suicide notes were written about this, saying that they can't live on with this everlasting fear of knowing what the rake is, knowing what it looks like, looking in its eyes, and like seeing it every time they close their eyes. So yeah, that's been mentioned in past journal entries. It's been mentioned in suicide notes. Like, so this thing has a negative effect on people.
It would.
Yeah, like some of the powers is like known for stalking victims, inducing terrible nightmares, which that's some of the cases is their terrible nightmares lead them to feeling hopeless. They can't live on with the fear.
Yeah, it would.
And there you go. I
have plenty of nightmares on myself.
Yeah, knowing what the rake is. Yeah, like looking at its eyes. And it's the cases of the nightmares are always the same. It comes to them at the foot of their bed, staring at them, just waiting to prey on it, just keeping its eyes locked on you. And then people say whenever they close their eyes, you can see its face, its eyes, it's peering back at you. So that's...
Bro, that's whack.
Yeah.
That's whack, bro.
All right, so yeah, like the rake's eyes are brought up a lot in these stories because, yeah, staring at it will just induce terrible nightmares, bring hopelessness into your life, and the will to die. Like, you just don't want to live.
Better not look in a mirror then. Just kidding.
So yeah, like here comes the story time. Me and my cousin, we've always loved watching scary videos. Like, all the time we'd watch YouTube videos of ghost hunting, monster videos, horror movies. We're just naturally drawn to those spooky, like,
Yeah.
videos, movies. And one time we did a family get together at my grandparents' house, and my grandma's house is a creepy house with porcelain dolls all around. It's always just had this creepy, eerie feeling to it. Whenever we go over, it's like something's off, even to this day, and it's been like that since I was a kid. So naturally, we watch scary videos
naturally.
Yeah,
Naturally.
add to the spook factor. So yeah, we were just searching through urban legends, and we came across a video like top 10 countdowns of scariest urban legends that might be true, and the rake was brought up for like 2 minutes, and it, mind you guys, none of this was brought up about the nightmares being induced staring at you at the foot of your bed. That was never brought up in the video. All it said was its eyes were terrifying to stare at. It's like its body's creepy and stuff, and it showed this really scary picture that I'll put in for you guys. So viewers discretion is advised for this picture because it terrified me. And if we got younger viewers, just be ready.
Now's the time. Turn your phone.
Yeah.
Upward.
Upward or
You know?
Yeah.
Upward and onward.
Push them off your shoulder.
Yeah.
So it pulled up a picture of that, and it was just talking about, it brought up the sailors, like, oh, I saw the rake in a nightmare. That was it. That was as far as like the nightmare was. He didn't describe like it was at the foot of my bed. It was staring directly at my face. I closed my eyes and I saw his eyes all the time. We watched that at like 12 o'clock, so lunchtime-ish. We go throughout our day. We go to bed around 10. Me and my cousin, we're sleeping in the same room because why not? We're just having a good old sleepover. And we go to sleep, and I have this nightmare where I wake up from where I am, and in this dark corner of the room, which usually isn't that dark as like my nightmare, but you know when you're looking in a corner, it's dark, but you can still make out shapes and stuff.
Was like did it have like a night light in that room, or was
No,
it, like
it was just
straight dark?
It was like the only light we had was coming from the window and the
Okay.
moon.
I
Like,
see now.
but that specific corner was straight black, and it looked like a tunnel to nowhere. And I see the rake's face from that picture peek out through the shadows, crawl up a little bit, and it's just staring at me. And I was staring at its face, and I couldn't move. All I could do was close my eyes, but when I closed my eyes, I saw his face jumping at me, like jump scare. Every time I blinked, every time I closed my eyes to look away, and I finally opened them again, and he was gone. And all of a sudden, the computer in that room, like, blasted on. It did the whole Windows XP, like the dun-dun-dun, that thing. It just went boom, blasted on. The light from the monitor, like, turned on, lit up the entire room. I shoot straight up, and I'm, like, in a sweat, and I'm, like, breathing hard, and I look over, and my cousin's shot straight up, and I thought, oh, maybe the speakers woke him up. So I couldn't go back to bed, and I'm like, I told him, I'm like, hey, I can't go back to sleep. Do you mind if I watch TV? He's like, I can't fall asleep either. I'm like, okay. So we turn on Netflix. We watch some Disney show, something light, and I can't look at that corner the same, like, throughout the entire night, because I just don't want to see the rake. And the next morning, we got zero sleep. We were up from, I don't know what time it was, all the way to the next night. Like, yeah, we didn't get sleep. And so I asked him in the morning, I'm like, so did you hear, like, the computer wake you up? He's like, yeah, it was weird. I was having this terrible nightmare. And he described the rake, that whole nightmare I had, but from his perspective. The exact same nightmare. We had the same exact nightmare, but from his perspective. Every time I tell this story, I get chills. It's...
I don't know what to think. I'm like speechless almost. That'd be so freaking creepy.
I think my fingers are tingling, so I must be somewhat scared.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my personal story.
It's spooky.
But
Yeah,
you did
that's
have a
really
video,
spooky.
right? You had like a...
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to
Okay,
next.
okay.
So back in 9th grade, before I knew anything about the rake, anything at all, I didn't know it was an urban legend that exists. Like, but I knew that there were monsters out there. Like, judge me however you want. I'm a believer in Bigfoot. I believe in ghosts. I believe in all that stuff. So to me, like, when I learned about the rake and I had that nightmare, to me it makes sense that this might be out there. And what I'm about to tell you is like all the proof I need to know that the rake or something rake-like exists. So back in 9th grade, I'm a senior now, about to graduate. I had a friend. I'm not going to say his name, but we'll call him Josh for the sake of
Okay.
Josh.
I go into class, and me and Josh, I've always been into scary videos for as long as I can remember, and so I just found a friend who was into that same stuff too. He was also kind of like the punk kid who would like not obey all the rules, so he went into like an abandoned. I don't know if you can even call it abandoned sewer. Are sewers ever abandoned? Like,
Well, he's one of those little freaks. No.
yeah, him and his gang of friends went in the sewer just to walk around. And yeah, I'm not
Get
gonna.
them so scared.
Yeah, and he was telling. I come into class, and he's like Tyson, and he's not himself that day.
You should.
Yeah, I go sit by him like, "What's up?" He's like, "I have something to show you," and he like tells me the story before he shows me this video, and he's telling me he's like, I was walking in that sewer, and we were getting deeper than we used to get, and we stumbled across like all this satanic like spray paint, and he's like, oh, teenagers must have came in here, done like spray paint stuff, blah blah blah, and also like the standard graffiti, garbage and stuff. But he's like, he noticed a lot more like crosses, a lot more like not
The freaky stuff.
yeah. And they keep going in this tunnel, and he said he thought he heard something, so he pulled out his phone on Snapchat and he turned on the flashlight and he started videoing, and he's getting darker and darker into the tunnel because they're getting further and further away from the entrance / exit. They hear something with his friends, and he's like, what is that? So he like gets his phone, he videos it, and he gets closer, and he said he saw this thing that is crouched down on all fours, probably its knees, head bowed down, and it was like gray skinned, like humanoid. Probably in this video it looks about 6 feet, maybe. Yeah,
Okay.
close to 6
Around
feet,
that.
just crouched down, and you can barely see it in the phone video because it is a little bit older, and it's darker, and it was only filmed with one flashlight. He gets closer, and as he gets closer, he's like, what is that? What is that? And you see like the outline of the body, and you see the head, and it moves at the last second. And he said he saw it like lift its head up and back up a little bit, like it's about to jump.
Yeah.
And so he's like, we ran out of there as fast as they could have, and they didn't look back, and they just kept running and running. So I recently contacted him for him to send me this video, and he sent me the video, and I'll play you guys the clip of the unedited version where there's no color grading, where it looks like it's all dark, and see if you guys can see it.
What is that? What is that? Oh my god.
Then I'll compare it to, I boosted all the whites, and you can definitely see something is there.
What is that? What is that? Oh my god.
That thing's freaky, man.
Yeah, we all saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bro.
It matches the exact definition of the rake.
Yep.
So, but people say, this is the sad part for me, people say it's just an internet urban legend. It was a monster made popular to support a game coming out called the Resistance 2. I don't know, it's an old game, but it was to popularize that game, and so
Which it was. No,
yeah,
I'm just kidding.
yeah. And I'm like, oh dang it, like, so maybe all the stories seem to be fake, but those written stories by the sailor, by the like suicide notes and stuff, my nightmare, and then this video, maybe it's not the rake, but maybe there's something rake like out there
In your local sewers.
in your sewers, in your neighborhoods. Lock your doors, shut your windows, keep your kids inside and not let them go out in the sewer.
Moral of the story.
I'll get back to you on that. I'm gonna go exploring.
Yeah.
Our next video will be us vlogging that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Well, that's the rake, guys.
Bro.
And that's our
Well,
urban legends.
Yeah.
That's it.
All
That's
three
it.
of us, we
That's
covered.
episode 1.
All right. That was the Spooks Brothers podcast.
Yes, this concludes episode 1 for now.
This was
I'm Carson. Reminders to everyone.
Yeah.
Presley.
Tyson. And thank you so much for everybody that has watched this episode.
If
Please.
there is anybody.
Yes.
Yeah. The more people that watch this, the more we're going to want to do this. And obviously, our background's going to change. We're not going to make it look like we're in a little dungeon. One of those dungeons.
Hey, no. In the basement.
We're not in
Chill.
this basement. We're
Chill.
actually in a
Chill.
real dungeon. This is spooky.
Yeah,
We're
so,
scared.
yeah, all right. Thanks, guys, for watching, and we'll see you next episode.